She is at least 3 times a week. Michelle Brown, how are you, young lady?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you. You look like you brought some goodies again.
I did.
We're playing with fabric samples. What's going on?
We are, and I didn't. You guys think I stole them? I didn't have to steal them.
Well, normally people don't carry these around unless they're doing some design work.
Listen, you can find these. Actually, you can find these at thrift stores. I do have a hookup with some interior designers in town, and they get rid of them.
I say these are old samples, right?
They're older, yeah.
Because they're
not available anymore, yeah, because they're constantly changing things out. So, and normally they just get thrown away.
So, would you suggest then maybe find a fabric store or a place like this and say, do you have any old samples that you're trying to get rid of?
Well, why am I asking that? What in the world are we going to do with fabric samples?
Because as you can see, when you look through these books, there's beautiful, beautiful fabrics that are available in each of these books. All kinds of different textures, different types of textiles, different patterns, designs, and one book, has a lot of these in them. So this is a valuable material to create with.
To create what? What's our DIY today?
Okay, so I use these. First, when people get these, I get this question a lot. It's like, how do I work with them? So they think they'll take the books, and if they find a bunch of them at the thrift store or what have you, flea markets, and then they just cut along there. Well, you don't have to do that, and kind of that ruins the integrity of the piece of fabric that's in there.
If you cut right here.
So I brought one of yours is already started. Lou's I want to show you and they're all built the same.
Okay, you want me to open this one then?
Open it up. I want you to work. It's a little bit of work. That's probably the most. It takes a little bit of time and a little bit of muscle. So pull the cardboard off. Yep. Okay. And then you'll see there's these really long staples.
Big staples right here.
Big staples. So you just kind of pry underneath there with a pair of
my vice grip-like hands.
Yep. Okay. Oh, look at you. See?
He's so strong.
See? And then that will release all the fabrics.
There you go. And then they're all going to come out of there. And then you have the entire piece to work with. And they're usually pinked along the edges so they won't unravel.
Oh, good.
So one less thing for you to worry about.
Yeah, this one's a little bit hardier.
This would look good on you, Jackie. Look at that.
See, look at all. There's beautiful, beautiful materials to work with it.
All right, so that's how we get the material out of there to use. Now, what are we doing with it?
Once you have that all taken apart, then you have your pieces that you can work with. And then what I've done is I've used them in a zillion. And once you start working with the material, just like anything else, it fuels other ideas for you. The first use that I used them for was I made rugs. I've made throws.
So you've sewn them together and kind of like a quilt-like.
Exactly. And the funny thing is you can either, combine your colors, create a color palette that you like. You can just mix up all kinds.
So this is a big doily here.
Of different ones. Actually, that's the beginning of, I'm creating a color wheel.
A color wheel?
A color wheel. We do color wheel, lots of projects with color. And different things.
Okay, I'm going to turn this around so you can see it, but you just
that's the back end,
just simply sewn.
So I just cut them into triangles, and then I'm putting them all together to create
this one you put rings on so you can hang it.
And when you sew all of these different colors and these patterns together, they always look good. Like you can't go wrong. Like you could take different ones out of different, but they don't have to necessarily go together. Okay. Because when you create, kind of a grouping with them, it just has a really cool, eclectic, kind of boho look to it. So I've created valances. So you can just sew all of your different pieces together. And what I like to do is work with the pieces of fabric as they are, and try to come up with ways to utilize them. Okay. So you can create rugs, and I've put them in. I had a guest bedroom. We did a bedroom project for one of our shows.
This one's really cool.
Created a really large scale
Now, what kind of stitches are you using on something like this?
Just a top stitch.
Okay.
I just layered them and just did different pieces, different sections at a time, and then pieced it all together. So I created like long strips.
And this is pretty strong then, too. These are strong stitches?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, very strong. Okay. That's the only kind of stitch I sew, Lou.
Okay.
So it's the right one. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
What are some other options?
Some other things that you can do with them. As I said, working with them as is size-wise, you can create all kinds of different bags, different pouches, gift bags, travel bags, laundry bags.
This would be a good, coupon bag.
Yeah,
or
just,
something.
A lot of little storage. Or if you're giving I like to use them as gift bags. So, around the holidays, or if you're presenting, it's just a really nice, reusable way,
little one
to offer.
But you make them specific to other things that you have laying around as well.
Yes, and then we create little pencil pouches, brush carriers. And they're also, they make a great canvas. So if you take each of your panels.
Maybe kids going back to school want to create a little,
two little pencil pouches.
pencil pouch for them.
And then you can also gesso them and do paintings on them, because the upholstery weight fabrics are nice and heavy. And then you're going to get all of these really cool textures in there. So this just has kind of a base and a background to them. And then you can come back over these and use them in mixed media projects. You can actually put them on a canvas. This is a small one that we took some of the smaller pieces, picture frames.
Regular picture frames?
Just regular little picture frames, and then staple them around there, and then we'll frame it out when we're done. But that gives you a really sweet canvas to play off of too.
Now you used a word to get it to that point. What was that?
Gesso, and it's like a primer. It's basically a primer. It's going to prime that fabric and get it ready for your paints.
Is that a product that you would look for called gesso, or what did you use?
It's called gesso.
It is called
and
gesso.
It just looks like a white paint.
Is it clear? Does it dry clear then?
No, it dries white. You can
white.
get clear gesso. You can get gray gesso. They have it in different colors, but generally most people will prime when you get a canvas at the store, it's been primed with gesso.
Okay.
Or you can use.
I didn't realize that.
I like to use what I have on hand. It's not necessarily always gesso. Sometimes I have some primer.
Okay, just some leftover paint.
Some wall primer, which works great.
And that's the same.
Same concept.
Yes,
Act as the same thing. Yeah.
So you're creating a canvas that you can then paint on, and you have other projects.
You can do little banners for birthdays. You could do these are little like prayer or cheer flags, you know. That
now, how did you get the lettering closest to you? How did you get the words written on there?
I just used a marker.
It's just a marker. I just want to let you know.
Markers,
you can really, it can be that simple.
Yeah, absolutely. Sharpies, acrylic paints. You can sew on them, so you can do a nice combination of painting, and then you can create some additional texture and design by stitching on there. You can do hand stitching. You can do freeform stitching using your machine. So there's really a lot of fun ways to use these fabric scraps that are in these books. And again, one book gives you a lot of material to work with.
Oh, talking about, you know, especially in the middle of summer, you want some projects, even for the kids to dive into some projects.
And you know, it ups the game when you work with different things like this. You know, it changes the experience of what you're creating, because it just, you already have some kind of built-in patterns and textures and designs to play off of that you can, you know, work with, paint around, and it makes it for, I think, a more fun experience.
Well, like you said, it kind of gets you thinking creatively in a different way that maybe you didn't realize, hey, I could really make something
amazing out
of this.
Yeah. And the more you do of this, the more resourceful you get, the less wasteful, the more conscientious you are, and yeah, I love it. I would much rather work with all of these kinds of materials than to be able to just go to the fabric store and buy different yards of fabric. And the end result is always a little richer.
Yeah. All right. If people want more details on some of the amazing DIY projects besides watching our program on a regular basis, you also have a website they can check out as well.
Yes, Remake Live on Facebook, Instagram, all of that fun stuff. So, and I'm happy to share ideas, and if anybody has questions, you know, reach out. I love to interact.
Yeah, wonderful. So this is going to be a color wheel.
That's going to be a color wheel.
See, or if the sun is out, you just wear it as a hat. Okay.
Multi-purpose products.
Perfect. That's
DIY.
awesome. Thank you, Michelle.
You're welcome. You're
awesome
welcome.
as always.
Fun, fun, fun.